welcome to the Rugby United podcast. This is the first episode. We'll be doing a preview for the quarterfinals. Yeah, we'll get started with the matchups. Anybody?
No, the first one is actually the interesting one. It's the matchups of the teams that aren't supposed to be there. The part that I like, that I actually found fairly entertaining, is that somebody mentioned on the one side of the draw, you've got a team like Scotland that don't make it through because they lost against the top teams in the world, and on the other side of the draw, you've got a team that made it through after they lost to Portugal. So we've got Fiji sitting there, and I love Fiji, but it's just weird how the draw actually happened.
Yeah, not just losing to Portugal, but losing 2 games in the pool and still to go through for it to work out like that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's very lucky in my opinion. Like, I don't know if they can bring that same spirit back they had against Australia and Wales. They might do it, but I don't even think with that spirit they'll be able to beat England.
No, I 100% agree with that. I think England's going to take the win. I think looking at that warm-up game is a little bit different to the way this England team's been playing now.
It's a different England, yes. I just wanted to piggyback on what he said now. Because Fiji is one of those teams, like you can put them in the same bracket as the Latin teams, like maybe in Argentina or even France in previous years, where if they are very high on emotion, then they can put on a very good performance. But the next week, then they are very down. Or the next time they play that same team, they're very down. The emotion is not that high. So I think the same thing will happen with Fiji, where they went to Twickenham. They were on this emotional high. They played good rugby and they won. I don't think we're going to see that this Saturday. This is my opinion.
Faris, I can't hear you clearly. Can you guys hear me?
Just a little bit soft.
I could hear the guy now. Yeah.
Okay.
You guys hear? Yeah, for me, Pablo Matera is a big miss in the team, or yeah, what's your opinion on that?
That is definitely a big miss. I mean, especially as a leadership aspect, you're going to miss a player like that, and also the impact that he brings at the breakdown. Something like that to give good breakdown ball it's going to be affected in that game. And obviously, they haven't been at their best, so it's a little bit worrying for a side like Argentina, who I honestly thought were going to top that pool going into the World Cup. Thought they'd had a decent rugby championship, but unfortunately, they just haven't hit their strides yet.
Argentina has just been one of these teams that it has never looked like they've almost belonged in the World Cup this time around. I expected them fully to beat England there in the first game, and they were horrible. They weren't able to put together any kind of constructive rugby during their game, and they've kind of gotten a little better as the groups wore on, but they're still not the Argentina that beat the All Blacks a year ago. It's definitely not the same team. There's something wrong just in terms of what might be happening just with the team in terms of the culture or something in there. Something is just not right. While on the other hand, Wales are actually starting to play, and you can see it that they are enjoying their rugby again. Their faces light up with every single thing that they do. While they were being battered by Fiji, they got excited, and you could see them smiling as they would tackle one of those Fiji players, stand up with a blue eye like this, but still be happy, just enjoying the game. So just in terms of the players and their body language, it doesn't look like the Argentina players are in the right mindset just to be playing in this kind of knockout part of the tournament. And with Dan Biggar all patched up and Liam Williams playing, I think it's going to be a bit of a more difficult one for Argentina than it's going to be for Wales.
Tseka is selecting what's his name, Sanchez on the bench, because Carrera's kicking, his running game is good, but he's kicking. Because I remember we just now spoke about the crisis match that they won. They made 98 tackles in that game. So they were on an emotional high. Then next week they got the 50. I think the score was 53-0. They lost to the All Blacks. They should have won the Springboks at Ellis Park, but I think Carreras missed like 3 penalties or 3 kicks. I think he missed about 9 points. So I don't understand why Michael Cheika is putting the best kicker on the bench. Why do you want to leave it up to chance for maybe that guy to come on and the last 30 or 20 minutes to come in, like almost regain those missed points?
The New Zealand Ireland game, probably, I think, in my opinion, the biggest game of the weekend. In my opinion.
Yes.
It definitely is. It's going to be a titanic battle, and I know I'm sitting here as a Springbok fan, but I definitely do believe that the All Blacks are actually going to win this one. I know there's a lot riding on it for Ireland, but I do think that they've had a bit of a tough pool in, say, like physicality wise, and I think they've had the least amount of rest out of all the teams. When they did have a rest, they only had a 5-day turnaround. So I just everything's telling me. It's not just thinking with my heart, Southern Hemisphere sides. It's thinking with my brain at the moment. And looking at the All Black side that was selected this week, also looking at the likes of Mac Hansen, I don't think he's fully fit. I think you got all 4 of your wingers that are not fully fit, and Mac Hansen with a calf strain, and I can't believe that you can turn around that quickly. You've got to target Johnny Sexton. I think we saw with Damien De'Alendi running over him a little bit, giving him a little bit of a hard time. I think you're going to have Geordie Barrett running down that channel, Artie Severe, the big boys running at him the whole day. So I think that's definitely where the game is going to be won and lost. I also think Damien McKenzie finally coming into what their full strength 23 would be is really, really exciting, because he's been amazing this World Cup. And also gives you another kicking option, and definitely with the feet later on in the game, I think that's he's going to take it.
Yeah, let's bring on the All Black expert, Tyrese. What's your take? Somebody else?
It's obviously the most, how can I say, obvious thing to say, or cliche thing to say, that the better will be one up front. And that is very true. But I do think, and Kieran just now alluded to that point about Meg Hansen. And I just wanted to say that the battle of the back three as a unit, that is going to be something that I think will be a very, very big determining factor when it comes to who wins this game. Because, like, I play fullback mostly, but I've watched Meg Hansen. It looks like, not Meg Hansen, I'm like Keenan, and it doesn't look like he's out of place ever. He cleans up every ball, and there's never space. Like the team tries to kick into some sort of green area, and he's there. And the same is Wings does that when he's up in the line. And I think with Fainganuku coming in, I think that they will try and target him, because he hasn't played much with Barrett at the back and Woods Gordon on the other wing, on the opposite wing. So, and I think that he's in to target someone like Meg Hansen, because he's playing right across him. But I don't think that we should get into a very long kicking battle with Ireland, because we're gonna lose. If we do, then we're gonna lose the game. I think we should play. I think it was against France where Barrett kicked every ball.
Yeah.
He should run Saturday. He should not do that again, because Ireland will punish us, because their attack is, at the moment, I think their attack is the best in the world.
I'm just happy to see our props back in Tyrell Lomax and Ethan de Groot. That's very important. The scrum battle is going to be very important to me. I was concerned Lomax wouldn't make it, maybe, but I'm happy. I'm happy he's there. For me, I'm happy he's seen. I wanted one of the big boys in since the start of the World Cup. I wanted Caleb Clark or Lester Fainanuku on one of the wings, because they draw 2-3 people. I know Mark Delia also does, but he gets turned over very easy. Like Leicester, he goes make himself available. He's busy. Yes, I'm very happy to see him there. I'm a bit disappointed Roy Gard not on the bench. I still think him and McKenzie together, the combination from the bench, cynical. Yeah, that, for me, it's got in our discipline. All Blacks discipline, it's going to be very important because I think I saw some stat. Ireland only has one yellow card throughout like 2024, the World Cup. I think one yellow card. Our discipline is going to be very important.
The challenge is honestly that discipline that Ireland has got, because it's literally it's now 29 games, if I'm not mistaken, that they've had 2 yellow cards. So that is just a little ridiculous. So if they're going to get into trouble, they're not going to get into the kind of trouble where they're going to get a yellow card against them. So that is one thing. But I just want to kind of go back a little bit to a mention earlier about Mackenzie. If Mackenzie is in there and he is playing with Mwanga, it's basically that there are 2 10s playing. And the 2 10s, something that the All Blacks started doing at the previous World Cup, is they would play the one kind of as a false 12.
Yeah.
And when they have that false 12 playing, it creates two layers of running lines. And those 2 layers of running lines are going to be difficult just to defend against when you've got Mackenzie doing it. I think if the All Blacks can be disciplined, like mentioned, in absorbing the pressure, that moment when there's a little bit of a soft belly on the Irish side, which doesn't happen often, and they have those guys in attack, it can be a quick 2 scores in 5 minutes.
Yeah, anyone else before Paris? You want to mention something?
No, I just think that I don't want to say. Let me say this: Ireland were lucky to win that game against the Springboks. I think we can all agree to that, right? I think 11 points is a lot in a test match that big, right? I think that they were flattered in that result. They played very well. It was my second best game, or my best game, in terms of just two of the best teams going at it, and for 80 minutes. But I think that the All Blacks are on a revenge mission. Like, it's unheard of that a team goes to New Zealand and beats them in a 3-match series in their own country. And the team beats them in 2 consecutive games. I think when the All Blacks just apply a bit of pressure, most of those guys were there in 2019. They got that hiding. They will go back to that day. I promise you.
For me, like, we need that same spirit, that same aggressiveness we had against Springboks a few weeks ago in Auckland. We need that first 20 minutes. If we can shut them down, I think we'll need to shut them down, get the crowd quiet. Yeah, then we'll have it in the bag. I'm very nervous. So.
No, I was just gonna say, and it's been very underlooked, but that Italy game is the big one for me. I just feel like you don't put 96 points against the Six Nations side.
Yeah.
You just don't go and do that. The French couldn't even do it. So I just think that's the game that people are forgetting about, because everybody said that Italy could beat the All Blacks, and the All Blacks went out there and put 96 points against them. But then after that, there was no talk about the All Blacks. So for me as a Springbok fan, I'm happy we're not playing the All Blacks in the semi-finals. And I said that as soon as we lost to Ireland, in the quarterfinals, I said that as soon as we lost to Ireland, because you don't know what All Blacks team is going to show up at the end of the day. About
England and Fiji a bit in the beginning, they need that spirit they had the first 2 games, because if I don't see them beating England at the moment, even though I will be supporting them, but yeah, like, who supports England, by the way? So yeah, it's just, yeah, I will be supporting them. Thijs, I'll give you the show.
Yes, the 4 people in the world left supporting England, we don't need to make them happy. That's all good and well. G1, in terms of the game just between the 2 teams, something that has been a problem is, if you just have a look at the run-in that England has had over the past 2 Six Nations coming into the World Cup. If you look from the start of the previous Six Nations, not this last one, the year before through to now, they won something like 6 out of 16 games. So they've been horrible. They've been absolute rubbish. They lost twice against Scotland. They lost against Wales. Italy pushed them close. Literally, probably their best result out of the lot. They beat a couple of minor teams. Their best result out of the lot was drawing against New Zealand at the end of last year.
Yeah.
But apart from that, they didn't have anything very exciting to talk about. And a very dysfunctional team was handed over to Steve Borthwick. And that dysfunctional team hasn't really gelled together. Now, the stupid thing that they went with, and Tyrese mentioned the very important fact, is the same thing with Sanchez, where Sanchez is a sure kicker. It looks like England is not going to go with Ford.
No, that's insane.
So they're going to drop Ford in favor of somebody who's got shampoo commercials working for him, and then somebody who doesn't know how to use arms. So those are the two people that they've got playing. So somebody's going to get a yellow card, and the other one is just going to be frantic. He's looking like he's running around on tick the whole time, and he's just crazy as all thing. But he's too unpredictable, and most of the time, he's not the England version of Mackenzie. Mackenzie actually has chemistry with the rest of the players around him. Marcus Smith is on his own. The runs that he makes, some of them are brilliant, and some of them really, you don't know where it comes from. But more often than not, when he does those, you see he's on his own. Nobody else knows that he's going to do it. Nobody else has really got an understanding of it. And that is the problem. So the chemistry is a bit shot there. On the other hand, the Fijians, I think we all kind of saw the videos where they were in Fiji, going through the motions, running those dunes. And as a team, that's what they do. They stick together. They very religious bunch of guys. They are like family. And it's for them, that is like it was Portugal's World Cup when they played against Fiji. This is the chance for Fiji to actually get into a position where they need to be seriously taken into consideration for the Rugby Championship. If they can beat England and they get to the semi-finals, what happened in 2007 is Argentina got to the semi-finals, and because they got to the semi-finals, World Rugby fought tooth and nail to get them into the Rugby Championship. Now, if Fiji gets there, they're going to have the chance to be part of an expanded Rugby Championship. And this game is going to be massive in so many contexts for the Fijian team. So, yes, they kind of slowed down the pace and just went through the motions the last two games. But, yeah, I definitely don't want to try and tackle a Tuisova as he runs at me. His calves literally are the size of most people's chests. So, yeah, they are a bunch of monsters, and person for person, the only difference that they've got between forwards and backs is in size and everything is the backs are just faster than the forwards, but everybody's the same size. They're massive. They are units, literally. And if you, I heard a ridiculous stat the other day. If you just look at the Islanders playing in Europe's top leagues, in top 14 in the Premiership in Ireland, it's something like 22 or 23% of the players are Islanders, and that's for a reason. So if you've got this group of players who've got all these athletic abilities, and they've shown what they can do when they play against Wales, when they play against Australia. I know they were rubbish, and they beat England before the tournament as well. If they have their day and they come together, sorry, they're going to break England. So in my opinion, I think that one's going to go Fiji's way. They've just got more in the game for them as a country and as a team than England's got.
I was actually trying to almost sort of changing my opinion on that game. Honestly, as I've always said that England was going to beat Fiji, but now listening to that, it does. It gives a good fight for Fiji. I do still, however, believe that the way England rugby is playing at the moment is more like the way we saw the Springboks play in 2019. It's very forward dominated and kick heavy, and I think it works for them. It works for the type of team that they got. Whereas Fiji, we've seen what happens is when the games get unstructured, that's when they're at their best. That's those last 20 minutes. That's when they're at their best. But against this English side, they seem to know what they're doing with their structure. I think it took time for them to get there. It really did. But I think under Bothwick, they're definitely coming into their own now, and that's where I still see them beating Fiji.
We made the mistake of trying to downplay one quarterfinal, and as we are speaking now, I begin to realize that each one is special in its own way. The matchups and just the stories for each and every country. So that is a beautiful thing. But to come back to like this game, the reason why I say Fiji is going to lose is because they didn't show that yet. Because the Fiji of old, they could always play rugby. It's just they wanted to, it's almost like they wanted to play sevens in 15s. So they got bored when it turned into, when the game got slower, or when other teams started to kick a lot and turn them around and they had to play out of their own half. They hated it. They just wanted to offload and run lines and short balls and all these kind of stuff. That's their rugby. But the Fiji of this year, they are comfortable playing test rugby, and that is what is giving them a chance. Because and to go to England, I will go back to Fiji again, but England plays their best rugby when they play the 10-man rugby. Forward dominant, kick, good chase, good defense line, and that's how they play. If they score a try, they score a try. If they can beat you like they did with Argentina, 27, I don't know what the score was, but George Ford had like a masterclass. I think he was perfect, right? It was 10 from 10 or 9 from 9, including 3 drop goals. That's England. That's when they had the best. And I still don't think that Borthwick was the right guy. I would have gone for someone like a Rob Baxter at the Chiefs. But anyway, you can see that Borthwick is bringing that Leicester Tiger style to England, because it is that job or the championship they won that got him that job. If we are honest, with Leicester, yes. But the Fijians, if they can just be patient and just play, and because they can kick well to contest, make sure the defense line is strong, they will win. Listen, my prediction is still England, but if they can just not get bored of playing knockout test rugby, they will win. To come back to Taste, was the English team announced already?
No, not yet.
I think they hadn't announced that. They've just been speculating about the Ford being dropped, and there was too many publications that said Ford would be dropped and it would be Marcus Smith and no arms playing. So yeah, it was a bit of a difficult one. You don't have the team yet. The same with the Springbok team that hasn't been announced yet, as they're holding back on that. So it's
That is madness not to play George Ford. It's madness.
No, it's stupid. It is as if you were the All Blacks and it was 10 years ago and you had a fit Dan Carter and you say, no, thank you, we're not going to play Dan Carter. How the hell? You take the kicker that kicks the whole time.
He's playing very well with Ollie Lawrence and Manu. Those three, like that 10, 12, they are playing well together. And that doesn't make... I understand that Owen Farrell is the squad captain, but he can sit on the bench until he gets his arms to work. Let him sit on the bench.
The thing is, let's just first see if he can use his arms to carry on some bottles of water. If he can do that for 79 minutes, put him on for the last minute. And then you see what he can do. But that would have been the better one if I was running the England team. But apparently, no. They think part of his recovery is that he grew arms. So let's wait and see.
And his kicking is also not on par. Like it's not like he's going to make a difference kicking wise, because George Ford is kicking well. Not just technically but to the poles too, which will win you your knockout games. So I really don't understand. But anyway, that's another Borthwick madness that we are seeing, that we are witnessing.
Well, for me, England's best game was that game against Argentina, and who was kicking that game? George Ford. Like, that was the most important game of the group, in my opinion, against Argentina, and he managed the game so well with a
Red
missing
card.
player, with a red carded player. He managed that game perfectly. A host versus the world champions. Box taking on France. I'm going to let Kieran take this one for us.
I mean, yeah, obviously, as we said, both teams haven't released their lineups yet. I think there's more decisions to be made with the Springboks, whether or not you start Marnie Lubbock or you start Andre Pollard. And then the same as, do you start Lekanya straight away or do you start Jesse Creel, who's had a pretty decent World Cup so far? I personally believe that Marnie Lubbock should start. I think he's a better ball playing 10, and we know he has the kicking ability. We've seen him in the URC, and he's had 2 weeks now to work on it. And I think if you make it a 6-2 split and you bring Pollard and a 9 coming off the bench, Pollard can cover that 12 as well, but I'd like to see Pollard come on at 10 those last 25 minutes, kind of kick it over if we do need points in there. And I feel like you just got to go with Lekanya. You've got to trust him at the end of the day. He's one of the best 13s to play the game, so I think you got to back him there. But that's obviously, I don't think that's where the game's going to be won and lost. It's definitely in the forwards. The French pack is underratedly physical. They're a very, very physical forward pack for a Six Nations team. So yeah, I'm very interested to see the way it's going to go. I do believe that we're going to blow them out of the water in the first half, and then I'm hoping to see Ox and Chair start. I don't want to see Kitzel start. I think Ox has been the best prop at the World Cup so far. I don't think he's lost a scrum. So yeah, I want to see Ox start. I want to see them blow them in the first 40 minutes, the same way we did to the All Blacks in that game at Twickenham, and then take it from there.
What we need to do is, I think we need to play 2 of our 3 fetchers at least, because if the French start getting quick ball with their racks, then when they start creating a lot more broken and unstructured play, it's very difficult to defend against them. And that you could see in their last game as well. They just ran riot. So you have to make sure that you have Kwaka in the mix there, and then either a Dion Fourie or Mark Verstappen. You have to have 2 of them on the field at any given time. You're not going to have 2 of them on the field. There are going to be too many racks where they have the opportunity to start attacking. And if they create from DuPont or they create with, because Damien Pinot was just a complete idiot in the last game. He would pop up at fly off and then do a cross kick for the other wing. He would come from the right wing on the left and come and score. He would have offloads. He would hit rucks. So there's nothing that structured about that. And if you don't have people quickly nullifying them at the rucks, they're going to hurt you. So that is the part that I'm most worried about. If we're going to give them the rucks, and they're going to get those without any pressure on them, they're going to hurt the Springboks.
Just to add on to the the fetching part, I have said the way Koch has been playing at the moment, he probably is the best fetcher in the side. And I know we're not going to drop the likes of Sia Khaleesi. You just can't, especially with the leadership and the way he's been playing since he came back. Is there a point to say maybe start Kwagga ahead of Peter Steff and then put Peter Steff on the bench? That's yes. Where my head's going, and I think that's why we're taking so long to announce this team. I think first of all, I think Rassie and Jacques are playing a little bit of mind games because we've always been the first team to put out a team for the week. Now I think I think we're going to wait till the French side is out and then we're going to reply back. Obviously, they already know what their team is. But I think it's a little bit of mind games going on. But hopefully to see Koch starting. And then obviously Dion Fourie for me is obviously the second best hooker that we have based on his line-up throwing and scrumming. So we at one point we may see them both on the park together. If it is in a bomb squad type effect, I wouldn't be upset about that either.
I think the Friends being the host. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I think the Friends being the host, they're flying under the radar kind of because everyone is speaking about the Ireland New Zealand game and the Boks winning. no one is mentioning France, and I think because DuPont is obviously a major reason for that. But I do think that they can do something special. My prediction is also for the Box to win, but because I want them to play the All Blacks in the final so that we can win the World Cup, beating the Box. That's why. Not because I like them, but I do think as we just now said that the battle will be won up front. So we know that Frans Malherbe is going to solidify the type of ball the Box get. He does not. That's his job. That's why he's one of the reasons why tight heads are paid the amount or are paid the prices they are paid up there, because teams realize how important they are to the whole engine, if I can say so. So my thing is Antonio. He got penalties in that first game against Ethan de Groot, which the All Blacks should have gotten. So I think he's coming against Kitsov. Oxense has been playing very well. I agree with you guys. But my thing is, what the Box does quite is that they go with combinations, not just one player. Because it happened, they destroyed us at Twickenham with the starting front row. But especially in that Irish game, because I think Tide Forlong and Andrew Porter did a very good job of making sure that Marks, Malherbe and Kitsov don't destroy them up front. So they just kept the scrum still. But once Ox, Bongi and Trevor came on, the Irish were destroyed. Box try and stay away from DuPont's chest, because as soon as they see the hit is close to the head, I think there will be a red card. So just tackle him at his legs, his stomach. Don't even go to his chest. That's too high.
I don't know what. I've been wanting the French to lose since they beat the All Blacks that first game. I've been supporting every team. I think my prediction for the squad, I think they might go with Dwight Vermeulen at 7 again, with Khaleesi at 6, and Jasper. I think it's not what I will go with, but I think that's what Rassi and them gonna go with.
My predictions. The England Fiji one. The Fiji win. And I believe that's going to be a relatively close one. That's going to be a 5-pointer one. The Ireland All Blacks one. I feel it's going to be an Ireland one by roughly about the same margin. The Springboks one. The Springboks versus rather winning over France. Also that kind of small margin, and then the bigger margin one I believe will be Wales probably putting 12-15. Over Argentina. I just think Argentina are going to fall flat.
Then for me, my predictions, I'm going to go, obviously, All Black to beat Ireland by, I'm going to say 6. I have England to beat Fiji by 2. I have Box to beat France by 9. Then I have Wales to beat Argentina by 11. Kieran.
So yeah, obviously I'm going to go England versus Fiji. I'm going to go England by 7. I think it'll be a close affair, but I do think England will win by 7. Then Wales versus Argentina. I'm going to go with Wales by 12. Also think they're going to kind of run away with it towards the end. Then Ireland versus the All Blacks. I think it's going to be a close one. It definitely will. But I'm going to go the All Blacks by 3. I'm going to call a very, very close game for that one. And then, Springboks versus the French. I'm going to go for the Box by 12.
By 12, okay.
Yeah. I'm going Wales by...
Ireland by 15. New Zealand by 15, but I went with the humble side.
I'm going Wales by 15 plus. The same. Okay, I'm going England by 7. and I'm going All Blacks by 7, and I'm going South Africa by 9.
By 9. Okay,
By 9.
that's a good prediction. I don't know if you guys
By
are
9.
into betting odds and stuff. I've got a few numbers. Like I won't be touching the All Black game. I won't put any money on that. But if you want to, you can put 1,000 grand on All Blacks and win 2,000 back, right? If you want, I'd do it.
At
Then
the same as Argentinian odds. They're sitting at 2.8. So if you put you can put a decent amount down and get back if Argentina decide they want to win that game.
even with Fiji, you can win 4 grand on Fiji, eh? Maybe favorites, yeah. But I won't. And the France, South Africa, I also won't be touching that game. I also won't be touching that game.
What's the odds on that game? What's the odds on the SA France game?
Uh, South Africa's 2.24 to win. France is 1.79. So South Africa is the underdogs. You can win 2.5
Okay.
around there.
It's because I've
I like
I've checked the booking numbers in New Zealand this past week. I probably lost it Wednesday morning, and even there, the All Blacks are like the underdogs. And that says a lot about this Irish team. But I was just wondering what the bookies were saying about the SA France game. Seeing that you're speaking about South Africa so much.
Now, if you look, we're going into it as the underdogs, according to everybody. So
It
we'll
doesn't
take
make
that
sense.
tag.
Doesn't yes, you love
we,
it.
Yeah, we went into a World Cup final as underdogs, and we all saw
I
how
don't
that ended up.
understand how. Because once England beat us, I was like, the Boks are winning this cup. Because you could see that was England's final. Because
Yeah.
they even said their main aim was to beat the All Blacks, and they did. So I don't understand how the Boks went into that game as underdogs, but anyway.
But we'll still take it. Whatever anybody's saying, we'll take it.
You'll take it, yes, you'll take it. Yeah.
Okay, then we have a few, a few people in my comments gave me some questions to answer. People asking me about how confident are you about France and Ireland's future?
I think they've got a good future, especially with their young sides. I mean, both of their young sides. I mean, I think it was a French versus Ireland under 20
Final.
championship final. So I think you got to look at that, and you got to think the rugby is definitely growing in those two countries. I mean, the way the senior teams have started performing in the last 3-4 years, it's definitely growing there. So yeah, I think it's definitely a good future coming for them. I think 2027 with the young French side now is probably their best bet to win a World Cup.
I think the Northern Hemisphere's youth, can I say, system is so good, or junior system, that they forced us as the Southern Hemisphere to start an under 20 rugby championship. And I think that says a lot. Because I think starting next year there will be an under 20 rugby championship, and it will be in Australia in the Gold Coast. I think it's Gold Coast, yes. And I think we should have done that long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago. Because our talent is not that far. We're not playing. That's the only problem. We're not playing, but I think we'll catch up quite easily. And I know we just now asked about France and Ireland, but I think that the All Blacks game will also go up, because a big thing is the All Blacks was always the headquarters when it came to IP in international rugby or in rugby. Everyone came here and they went back to their countries. Now it doesn't look like New Zealand is their headquarters anymore. But now no one is going out from New Zealand. It's almost like we are too proud to go and learn new things. But Scott Robertson is that guy. He's been multiple times. He went to Melbourne Storm in the NRL. He was at the Patriots already, NFL. He's a guy that likes to learn and bring those stuff in. So I think that's something that's going to help us again grow our game. I still don't think Super Rugby is the way forward. for New Zealand and Australia to grow the game. It has done wonders for Fiji, but it's not something that's going to help the international teams for Australia and New Zealand. But that's a conversation for another day.
Great. Let's answer Fozzie's question here in the comments. What is the way forward for the Southern Hemisphere to best organization in the rugby industry? Yeah, guys, understand the question? I'm a bit confused.
I think it's like
I do not understand. Fonzie, if you can, Miskin, maybe just clear yourself up there with it. Because I want to answer your question, but I want to understand it also before I answer it. Don't just want to say something.
Then we have a question. This guy's name is Jason Bond with a T. This is from our South Africa supporter here on the panel. How do you feel about your best friend being referee on Saturday? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I've said multiple times across this World Cup, with Ben O'Keefe's refereeing, I don't think it's up to standard. I think if you look at the rest of those refs up on that panel, I feel like they had to put and it's an all New Zealand panel that's going to that game. But at the end of the day, I think you just gotta, as a player myself, is like you gotta take it out of the refs' hands. So I think if the Springboks do that, we take it out of the refs' hands. We just do everything that we need to do, and if we blow France out of the water in the first half, then I don't think he needs to come into it at all. I am a little bit worried because of his history, but that's all I'm going to say on the matter.
Why do you think I said that the Springboks should stay away from Dupont's chest? Like, yeah, it's too high.
No, I agree. But we'll let. Yeah.
The pressure that is going to be put on him, on the fans, because he's a ref that get influenced by the fans very easily.
Yeah, 100%.
Very easily. So anything here is going to look high, and then he's maybe going to get nervous and give a penalty that he shouldn't have given, and then maybe it's going to be reviewed, and then it's all of a sudden it's a record. So that's something. I have no problem with penalty if it's just in big moments. Like if you look at the Super Rugby final, if you look at the Super, I support the Crusaders, right? But that was a blatant forward pass, and there you should blame the assistant referees. And I don't understand why they didn't see that. But he should have, Penalty should have done something about that in that moment. It didn't lead to a try, but it was like 2-3 phases before a try. It could have changed the whole outcome of the result. So and it's very inconsistent because you could see the offside from the line out when Naro was scoring his second try. So even me as a New Zealand supporter, I don't prefer Ben O'Keefe. I think Glenn Jackson was our best referee, but obviously he's coaching now with Fiji. But Ben O'Keefe, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd rather see Angus Gardner to be sure.
Oh, Angus Gardner, I forgot about it. Listen, I see Vossi's question here. I think, can I answer?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think the best thing is we should not be so quick to give out intellectual property as IP, because all of our IP is going upwards just because of the money, and now it looks like the North is gaining the upper hand. But in my opinion, and I am biased in saying this, but I also think that there is some truth in it. The Southern Hemisphere will always dominate rugby.
Always,
like the IP, the coaching, and especially the athlete. Like if you look now, the South Africans and the Islanders are the number one commodity in European rugby.
Exactly.
They can't grow their own crops, so they will always come down. So to answer Fossi's question, we are the best. We just need to, I don't know how, I don't think it's possible, but I do think we need to tap into the US market. We need to tap into the US market to gain some form of financial leverage against the North to keep our talent here. Because otherwise we're going to lose them. But I do think
That
we
that
are the big.
yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, I know New Zealand have the rule where if you leave, you can't play for the All Blacks. Um, you can't implement that rule in South African rugby because there's just no money here that the players can get paid. I know now going into the URC and being in the Champions Cup, it has boosted the payments, and you've seen a lot of the big name players are coming back down to South Africa for saying that. So that is a good thing. But also just to answer his question about the best way forward, and you said it earlier, it's that junior rugby championship that's going to be put forward. But I definitely think you have to add in the likes of Fiji to make that a successful thing.
For me, I'm a huge crybaby over the Super Rugby. I want the Springbok teams back in the Super Rugby. I just miss it. I know that all of the fans, they enjoy it that side, but now for the Boks to join the Six Nations as well, really, I'm not a huge fan.
I don't think it'll ever happen.
I don't
I don't
think
think it
it will
can.
happen. I don't think it will happen. But that does open another good door, if I can call it that. Because if it happens with the Springboks exit the rugby championship, that will open the door to the three-match tours again. It can be done between New Zealand and South Africa. That will be something good. 1 year they can tour to New Zealand for like 5 weeks. Maybe they play against the Maoris too, and vice versa. When New Zealand comes to the side, they play against a few super side, or not super side, URC sides. So that can be something, because I've never witnessed a three-match series between New Zealand and South Africa. That's something that happened way before my time, and I would be very excited to see something like that as an All Black fan. But I don't think the Boks would want to join the Six Nations. The only reason they would want to is probably because of the money. But other than that, I don't think so. So yeah, that's my 5 cents on the matter. And another thing is, everyone says that New Zealand pushed South Africa out because around the 2 years prior to the COVID incident, then South Africa started complaining about the traveling fees and they had to be in New Zealand or in Australasia for like a month, and with the takeovers coming in, then they had to spend an extra week, fly again across the world to South America, so that was a bit, and the jet lag and all those factors came in, so they did complain a bit, but I do think that New Zealand were like, well, then go, and that was nice. But South Africa also looked for a way to spend less, understand? And our time zones are completely different. And now you watch the game and you're still awake, understand? I think the latest game in the URC starts like 10 o'clock, and that's fine. Because because when they play a day game in New Zealand, now we as South Africans have to wake up at 5 in the morning. Or when they play the Jaguars, now we have to wake up, or we have to stay awake until 12. And that's just kickoff time. So which means we're going to bed at 2. The time zones, the time difference was not doing it. And now the URC, it's perfect. And they're getting
That's
back.
exactly that.
Like, I think from the end of the 2025 season, they'll be getting that big Heineken Cup paper, which is very good.
100%.
100%. Okay, then the next question is, let me. That is
I agree 100%.
Sorry. Did you guys see? I don't know if you saw. There's going to be a friendly between Munster and Crusaders.
Yes.
That's going to be a big game to watch. That's going to be huge.
I think it's the 24th of January.
Okay.
But the thing is, and this is quite interesting because the coach of the Crusaders, the new coach, he was at Munster. So that's going to be something interesting. Yes, he was Rob Penny. He was there before round 2, who is there now. So that's going to be very interesting. But I think it's just Super Rugby's way of growing the game. Understand? Because Super Rugby is nowhere. Like URC is doing well. The Premiership is not doing well, but still better than Super Rugby because 3 teams has been liquidated in the Premiership. 3, that's a lot. So England is not doing well, and France is doing the best. The top 14, they are doing the best monetarily and like atmosphere-wise. So the stadiums are always full, and this is something. This is on the side note. Like the whole world, like especially the South Africans and the New Zealands, which are also big rugby markets, to implement this tribalism into the competition because that's what the fans have. To learn and to lose fans don't like each other, and that is something that's good. It adds to the fire. You understand?
It's like that Bulls versus Stormers mentality.
Yes, you understand. It's like that Blues Crusaders. You understand? But in New Zealand, everyone hates the Crusaders because they win. That's not the case in France. It's just my team, and if your team is not my team, I don't like you and your team. Period. Oh yes, and I see the Crusaders are playing the Bristol Bears also. Mackenzie just now mentioned it here. Yes, they're playing the Bristol Bears.
Is that true? That Fozzie, was it Fozzie who banned Razor from the stadium?
Yep. That's true.
What's the reason for?
He says he says it creates too much spotlight on the New Zealand team. So he says with Razor there, the players are going to be looking to impress him more so than trying to play for the team at the same time. Also, if you think about it, everything that goes wrong in the game, say things go wrong against Ireland, the first thing the cameras are going to point at is going to be at Razor. And it's going to be like, then the commentators are only going to talk about him. If you think about it, I know it's a bit off topic, but if you think about the American football, one of the players is now dating Taylor Swift. Every time she's inside the stadium, that's all the cameras go to, and it kind of takes away from the game. So I think that's where they did say that they want to take the pressure off of the players in that sense.
A good decision, you think, Tyrese?
No, but I understand it. I understand it because, and I mentioned that I made a video about it, I think last week, where I said that this was what made the All Blacks so unique. That the main thing was the All Blacks need to be successful, period. So the Blues, Highlanders, Crusaders, Chiefs, Hurricanes, they can kill each other on a weekly basis. But the best of those guys need to play for the All Blacks, and they need to be in a position where they can sign when they put on that black jersey. That was the main thing. And come World Cups, whether you're not in the All Black management team, but if you are a coach, well respected, who's won something, even if it is at the NPC level, you can go into the training ground and speak to the players, give some insight, just something to help the All Blacks win. And this is a guy that can do that. Right?
Yeah.
That's one side. The other side is, I do think he's too eager. And I that's why I say I understand why Fozzie said what he said, because it's a World Cup, my guy. If this was not a World Cup here, cool. Be in the stadium end of year, that's fine. But this is a World Cup. This is Fozzie's legacy.
Yeah.
Understand? Now all the attention is going to be on you. You're going to have your time. You have 4 years. Give him his time now. So I understand that. I do understand that. But I just hope that Fozzie knows what he's doing. That's my only thing. Because I believe this group of players we have is good enough to win the World Cup. I believe that. But somehow the coaching and the game plan we are playing with the players we have doesn't match. But anyway, that's just my opinion. But I understand why Fozzie did what he did. I can really understand that.
Well, Tyrese, I watched your video the other day where you said our best fullback on the bench, or like our best 10 is playing fullback, our best winger is playing center. Jordy Barrett also, yeah, like, if Posey can turn this around and win the World Cup, it would be one of the most controversial, most.
You're
I
probably
want him
yeah.
to do it. As the New Zealand, I want him to do it. I really want him to do it. Just to silence the haters. I
All
really
the
want.
latest. Yes. Yes. And to cement his legacy, because imagine like Wayne Smith, Steve Hansen, what's that guy's name? Graham Henry. All these guys received their knighthood. All these guys are very respected in New Zealand for what they did. And Fozzie is a part of that clique. He was with those guys, and now he's the guy that, oh, you're the one that didn't win the World Cup. You're the one that messed up. You're the one that took our country's rugby down. I don't want that for him. I don't want that for him. I want him to also be part of that. You know, he also won a World Cup. He upheld the standards. I want that for him. I really want that for him. Because New Zealand, when it comes to rugby, they are brutal.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
brutal. So I don't
Yeah.
want that for him.
No. Like, for me, people underestimate the fact that he won, I think, 2 rugby championships. Was he?
Yeah, yes, I think so.
He-
Yes, he won 2020 and 2021, right?
Yeah.
Did he win them all?
And this year as well.
Yeah, and yeah. So all three.
Yes, he won all three. Yes.
Even though the Springboks
Four.
weren't part of
He won
it.
4. 2020, the Springboks won there.
Yeah.
So he won 2020, he won all the rugby championships. That's good.
He retained the Nelson Mandela Cup. He retained the Bledisloe Cup. He lost a series win against Ireland at home. So yeah, a few records he doesn't want on his name, but that last game New Zealand played against Ireland, I think New Zealand were down 22-0, if I'm not.
Yes.
They came back. I think it was close. Then Ireland went and scored again in that.
Yeah, that was like the final nail in the coffin. But I think, I don't know why he selected John Plumtree and Brad Moore to be his assistant coaches. I do not. But the assistant coaches he has now is fine. Jason Ryan, very good with the forwards. And obviously, Joe Smith, you can see the improvement. You can really see the improvement.
That's also a very important thing. Is Joe Smith knows Andy Farrell very, very well, and he's going to be a very, very important part in this. Yeah, choosing a side that and a game plan that's going to be able to play against a Farrell side.
Because Farrell is very defensive minded. He's very defensive minded. Well, guys, I think that's my time also, man. I still got class tomorrow.
Load shedding in 8 minutes.
Okay, yes, perfect time, guys. Thanks a lot for joining today. I will see you guys on Monday again with our semi-final.
Oh, good man.
Hopefully,
Good night, guys.
hopefully we're all smiling on Monday morning.
Hopefully.
Yeah, semi-final.
Hopefully.
If I'm
Cheers, guys.
hungover on Monday morning, then it's been a good weekend.
It's been a good weekend, yeah. Guys, enjoy your night. Thanks a lot.
Stands.
Thank you.